All right. Hey, everyone. Let me see. You guys should be able to hear me. Mark P. Markets. Thank you for joining me for another trade session that we're going to do here. All right. The title of today's stream is Watch Me Day Trade the Ethereum Perp contracts or the futures contracts. And like I said in my previous stream, that is what I'm going to focus on going forward with these streams, right? Because I want to show people how we can use the Trade Scanner Pro. And I also want to trade at a time that's decent in terms of volume. I'm running behind today. I usually start this stream much earlier, like at least 30 minutes earlier. So I apologize for that. That's why my stream is starting now. So let's just get right into it. Now, if you're new to the stream, welcome. Let me just explain how this is going to work. So first, what I usually do is run through the economic calendar. I'll do that very quickly here before we get into the trade. Then I usually talk about the topic of the day, which today we're going to go to the Ethereum futures, and we're going to turn the Trade Scanner Pro on, and we're going to see what we can do with that. And then after that, if we have some time for questions and this and that, I'll be happy to answer your questions. I wrote my Bitcoin analysis yesterday. If you want to read that, you can go to TradingView and you can read that over there. So I'm not going to spend 30 minutes talking about what I wrote about yesterday. Okay, but you can see here, this is the chart. Let me make the chart bigger real quick. This is the chart that this is the chart right here that I published on TradingView. Okay. Hey, Eduardo. Hey, James. Good to see you. Lad, good to see you guys. By the way, if you want to share what city or what country you're from, that's always a fun fact. I'm in the greater New York City area, also known as Northern New Jersey, where we have a lot of drones these days harassing us everywhere. Anyway, it's all over Twitter. Even like the town that I'm in was even mentioned. I was like, wow, that's pretty nuts. Anyway, so yeah, if you want to read that analysis, I'm not going to reiterate the whole thing here, but one thing I just want to point out is I projected these two profit points. We blew through 105, but as you can see, we're hesitating a bit, right? And if you notice on the 15-minute time frame, we have a lower high after this 2,000 point sell-off off the top. Imagine all those guys that bought the top. 2,000 points in a matter of an hour. All right, it gave back. For Bitcoin right now, that's not much. Anyway, the point is, I would not be excited about being long right now, expecting this thing to go further and further. It can, but anyway, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on that. That's all I'm going to say about it. If you have questions, let me know, but read my analysis on TradingView. Okay, also, if you're interested in the Trade Scanner Pro free trial, there's a link in the description. I'll talk about that when we get to that part. All right, just wanted to mention it. Also, if you like the stream, please subscribe to the channel. Please press the like button. Leave a comment. That always helps. All right, now, so first thing I want to do, let me just talk about the economic calendar real quick. I'm going to make my screen smaller. You can see my big head. So this week, there's really only one thing worth mentioning. Now, understand, we are going into the next holiday phase. It's coming, right? Week 3 of December is you're in holiday mode. Week 4, don't even bother. Right, everyone goes away. Week 3, it's like holiday, Christmas, blah blah blah, and then week 4 is just mindless week, right? And the markets typically are lower volume, and I've seen for years and years you get the slow grind. It's usually bullish. It's usually positive because everyone is feeling good with all that holiday nonsense. So just be aware that week 3 and week 4. Trade small, don't even bother. It may be, we may get slow grind higher. It's possible, but I wouldn't be too aggressive about it. That's all I'm going to say, right? So all the action is really going to be this week. And what do we have this week to really get things going? We have the FOMC meeting that is on Wednesday. And that's the highlight of the week. Okay. If there are other reports, I hadn't noticed anything unusual on the economic calendar. It's the FOMC, and that's on Wednesday. The announcement, they have their meeting. I believe their meeting is Tuesday and Wednesday, right? And then they make their announcement on Wednesday. Wednesday, which is what, the 18th, they have 2 p.m. is the interest rate announcement, followed by the press conference at 2:30 p.m. Eastern time. So markets can get slow into that. Markets can get very lethargic. Volume usually lightens up because no one wants to take big positions or aggressive moves going into such a meeting when, people say, well, he's going to do this. Well, he's going to do that. Well, this is priced in. Well, that's priced in. Okay, that's all great. But if there's a surprise and he says something unexpected, you get a big move. And everyone's, oh, I wasn't expecting that. Right. Of course you weren't. But someone on the inside was. Anyway, let me not get into conspiracy theories. So my point is, you want to make sure you're prepared for that. If you have positions and you're going into that meeting with positions, just understand if there are any surprises, things can go one way or the other, and it could be for you or against you. There's no way to know in advance. So our job as a trader, our job as an investor is to control risk, right? If you're in a good position and you're nice and green, one way to control risk is you take some profits, take something off the table. If you're in Bitcoin from a great price and you got in recently and you happen to be in this amazing move to 107, don't hesitate to take something off the table, because I'm going to tell you what's going to happen to people right now, especially if you got in recently and you're like, oh, I'm a genius. Oh, I bought this thing at 100K and it pulled back a little bit, but then it came back, and I'm feeling good about it. I'm just going to hold on, right? So if this thing goes your way somewhat, you're not going to get out. If this is the peak right here, you're not going to get out. If 113 is the peak, you're not going to get out. You're going to say, well, I'm going to double my money. That is most likely what you're going to do. And when the peak actually appears, you're going to ignore it. And it's going to be hard to recognize until after the fact. And when it pulls back, back to your price, let's just assume you bought it at 100K and it goes back to 100K, you're not going to get out. You're going to be like, well, I'll wait till it goes back my way and I'll get out. And then that's when you're going to get married to it. Right? So I'm not going to get into that whole rant. I'm just letting you know that's usually how it goes. And that's why I wouldn't touch this thing as an investor. I wouldn't go near this thing at these prices. Just wouldn't go near it. I wouldn't even buy a small amount at these prices. Okay. Anyway. Oh yeah. Just wanted to mention real quick. Stian is not feeling well. He sent me a message. He's not feeling well. So I'm sure he'll watch this stream after the fact. Everyone, let's wish Stian feel better. Let's all wish Stian a feeling better type of message there. Feel better, Stian. Hope you feel better. Perhaps you should drink some more omers for their medicinal qualities. Maybe you'll feel better along the way there. Okay, so that's why he couldn't join the stream today. But anyway, so when he feels better, he'll come back and he'll also get some of the script updates together. And we have some interesting updates coming for this script. So for those that subscribe to it, you're in for a treat, because we're going to make it more intuitive and much easier to just understand what's going on without having to have instruction. That's a very important thing. Also, I got a message from a guy. I don't know if people are watching this. I just have to address this real quick. I get people, they say, oh, I've signed up for the Trade Scanner Pro. How do I get it on my chart? If you don't put your TradingView username in the profile when you sign up, in the registration thing, then you're not going to get an invite. If you don't get an invite, you can't put it on your chart. So if you have to make sure you put your TradingView username in properly, or if you have to do it after the fact, you have to go into your profile on the Trade Scanner Pro website, on the Market Signal Pro website, and you have to put your TradingView username in the correct field. If you don't do that, you will not get an invite, because it's all automated. All right. Anyway, enough to talk. I talked about the economic calendar. Let's jump into the futures, shall we? Now, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up the charts, right? So I'm going to change these charts. This one over here, we're going to change to, all right, so we're going to go to the 1 hour, right? We're going to change that to 1 hour, and we're going to go to Ethereum, right? Now, if you notice, I'm not using the Ethereum spot. I'm using the Ethereum perpetual futures contract. Right, and there's a reason for this. So I'm going to go to the MEXC one. It doesn't matter which one you go to. It's a perpetual futures contract, right? It's a derivative. I'm on this side over here. I'm going to change this to Ethereum also. Ethereum, right? Perp. And we're going to go to MEXC, right? And right now we're on the 15-minute. I'm going to change that to a 1 minute. This is the 1 minute. Now there's a signal there, but hold on a second. Before we get confused, I'm going to turn the signal off. All right. So we don't get confused yet, because before we can't just jump on any signal. We have to understand what side of the market we want to be working on. We have to understand the intent of the market. And this is where, let me make the chart bigger now because you don't need to see my big head. This is where the new update for the Trade Scanner Pro comes in. Because right now, in order to guess what side, or to assess, I shouldn't say guess, but assess what side has the higher probability, you have to do a little work. And I realized it's not really reasonable for me to expect you, especially beginners, people that have been doing this less than a year, to understand how to do that work. Although I demonstrate it each week, it's, it takes a while for it to sink in. And, I've been doing this a long time, so it's easy for me, but it's not so easy for you. So the script is going to compensate for that. Hey, go forth, pale, bald, and handsome, is even paler, balder, and more handsome this time of year. Yes, I appreciate that. Am I paler? Man, I try to get some color. I'm going to have to do that orange thing, like Trump. I'm going to have to do some orange or something, or something. I'm going to spray it on or something. Balder. I don't know how I can get any balder, and more handsome. Well, I appreciate it. But I hope you're a woman saying that. Okay. Anyway, but you're probably not. Anyway, so let's move along here and let's talk about this situation. Now, so currently, what we have to do is we have to look at two components. Now, I'm not going to explain the whole Trade Scanner Pro thing. If you want to understand how it works exactly, you can go to my YouTube channel. Go back like 2 streams, 2 videos, right, from like 2 weeks ago, and I explain it there. I'm not going to waste the time anymore explaining it, because here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to upload videos. Hey, Sean, spray tan. Yeah, that's what I'm going to have to do, because there's no sun here right now. So I'm going to have to spray it on. So I'm going to upload videos that explain all these little details so that I don't have to repeat it every week. And all my regular followers don't have to sit there and get bored by that. So I want to jump right into the trades, and that's the whole point of this stream, right? Let's trade Ethereum perpetual futures, and let's see if we can do something. Now, here's an announcement that I want to make, because I talked about this a couple of weeks ago. Right now, I'm still on this practice account, okay? You can see here, if I click on paper, it says on the bottom paper, right? This is the TradingView practice account. So that's where we're going to see the results, right? I want to do this with real money. And I spent the previous week researching, because I'm looking for a solution that's going to be practical for everyone, right? Because right now, like Coinbase, I have to say, Coinbase is a real pain. Not a fan. And I'm located in the US. I attempted to open an account on Bybit and MEXC, right, using the VPN. And they've changed their KYC policies of recent time, and they require a government ID. While I have no problem supplying them with one, they'll see that I'm located in the US, and they will not let me use their platform. So I cannot use. Yeah, I'm telling you, Coinbase. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, not a fan. That's all I'm going to say. Not a fan. So here's where I'm going with this. I was looking for a practical method, and I researched more. I went more into the DeFi space, and I looked at decentralized exchanges, because the centralized exchanges all seem to be following this guidance that comes from the global regulators or whatever, right? Because they all follow like sheep or whatever. They're forced to do that sort of thing. And the US is on a restricted list and all that other stuff. So it's like, okay, so what is the solution? Well, I looked into some decentralized exchanges, okay, peer-to-peer exchanges. I found one that I found very interesting. So here's my plan, because I want to trade this with real money. I'm working on that. I'm not going to get into which one right now. And by the way, I'm not an affiliate. I'm not going to be an affiliate for one and all that other stuff, whatever. If we do that, I'm going to give that stuff to Steen anyway. But we're going to find a decentralized exchange. And then basically what happens is you have to send your money, which in my case, I'm going to use USDC. You send your money to a wallet, and then you connect your wallet to the exchange, and then that will allow you to trade. There's no KYC process. So anyone can use it. And that's really like the most important thing. So it doesn't matter if you're in the US, it doesn't matter what country you're in, you can use it. And then you can be able to follow along. So that's what I'm working on. I hope to have that together by next week. And then I can give you all the specifics on, the process that I went through to connect that. All right. I'm sure many of you are familiar with that whole process, but I was looking for something that I can explain to people step by step, because you have to understand I'm dealing with a lot of beginners, and they may get intimidated by this stuff, right? And Coinbase should have had this figured out. But anyway, all right. So that's where I'm going with that. But right now we're still on paper. All right. Everyone clear? If you have any questions, let me know. Now let's talk about this trade situation. What time is it? Man, it's almost 4 o'clock. We're going into low volume time. Understand that each day has its volume patterns, right? Like typically, and they sort of follow the stock market. 9:30 a.m. Eastern time is the market open, and you get a volume surge from that time till about 10:30 going into noon, right? Afternoon, volume shrinks, and then the next window of momentum is typically around 2:30, 2:15 to 2:30 into the close of the market. Right now, we are into the close. So volume usually starts to taper off starting now. Not my favorite time to trade. So when I do these streams, I do them at 3 o'clock or maybe earlier. Also, once I get on the decentralized exchange, I'll be able to trade on Saturdays or Friday nights, or, I know it's date night for some of you, but I'll have a more flexible time and won't be fixed on US trade hours. And which means, again, why is that important? Because I'm going to stream the trades, right? When I have the real money running through here, I'm going to stream the trades. So all of the trades are documented on a stream in real time. So I can't do the old fake guru trick of, short one, long one, only record only upload the winner and then put a voiceover on. Look, my trade is a winner. Right? Yeah. So anyway, no fake guru tricks here. All right, so that's the background of the situation. Let me know if you have questions, guys. Let's get into the trades now. So first, what I have here is we're looking at the hourly Ethereum chart over here. Okay, it's the hourly, and I just have to do some basic assessment, and it's very simple. I mean, look, higher low, right? We have a low over here. We have a higher low over here. Okay, we have a higher low right there. Can I get a line? Okay, we have a higher low right there. Higher low, we broke this high, we have a higher high. That right there tells me bullish. That's very simple. I don't need the trade scanner to tell me that, right? It's bullish. And if I zoom out a bit, I mean, clearly this is a bullish structure. Now, we're coming off the high, but generally this is a bullish structure. Okay, good to know. Good to know. All right, now, but we have this pullback we're dealing with. And here's the thing you have to understand. Generally bullish, but when I'm going to day trade here, I'm going to switch this to a 15-minute. When I'm going to day trade, I do want to be aware of the momentum, because sometimes we have situations where, yes, the structure is generally bullish, but the momentum changes. And we're kind of dealing with that right now, right? We have this lower high that's now established, this little mini lower high on this 15-minute chart. And that could be the beginning of a problem, right? Or beginning of a change, I should say. Not a problem, but a change. Now, we do have this support right here that developed, right? We have that. So I'm going to work with that, but I am aware that we have a lower high. So I'm not going to be bearish just yet. I'm still going to work on the long side for that reason. If we close below this line, if we take out that line, we break below it, then I'm going to consider it more of a somewhat of a mixed situation. And that's when things can get tough, right? Notice this beautiful bullish move is over for now. So just blindly going long is going to be risky. And I'm trying to keep risk to a minimum. So in a generally bullish market, supports should hold and resistances should break. So I should be working on the long side, particularly around support levels. This is my support level. Very clean, very simple to see. Now, the whole idea here is now we can look at the Trade Scanner Pro, and on this chart, and we know that we want to lean on the bullish side of the market, right? I know this going into it. So I'm going to favor long trades, and I'm not going to work in counter trend mode. I want to work in trend mode. Now, on that note, with counter trend mode, we're going to make some changes with that. The next iteration of the script, what we're going to do temporarily is we're going to remove the counter trend functionality because I believe it's confusing for people, right? So it's going to basically force people to work in trend mode. Here's the market close over here, right? See the jumbling, the price actions jumbling all over the place? That's the stock market closing, right? That happens. That's typical. So let's let that process right now. I'm not doing anything yet. So we're going to remove counter trend mode. And what I mean by that here, I'll show you on the, actually, I can go back to one chart here because we have our general idea. We use the bigger picture just to get the general idea, and then we can focus on the smaller picture because this is what you're going to be doing when I have the new Trade Scanner Pro stuff running here. So when we look at the settings panel of the Trade Scanner Pro, right, all of these should be turned on, and they'll be turned on the new version automatically. And counter trend, which is over here, we're going to remove that until we have, because I have a new idea as far as how to filter those so that they're higher probability than they are now. And so when we have that functionality built in, then we'll put the button back. But right now, my goal is to make this simple enough and intuitive enough so that people understand, oh, okay, I should be going long because I can see visually it's cueing me to go long, right? And I want people to be able to trust that visual cue. Because if you think about it, we're reacting to things. We're reacting to patterns. We're reacting to stuff we think we see, all that other stuff. And there's a lot of misinformation, and it can be on your charts too. Charts can be confusing, right? So if you're reacting to the wrong information, you find yourself getting into trouble, right? Okay, here we go. There's a long signal. We're coming off support. Let me just turn my trade panel on. Okay, so this is Ethereum. Let me just center that. Now, before I go nuts and jump in, we got the entry candle, right? But I want to see how this new candle behaves. Now, I'm on a 1 minute time frame here. In previous examples, I've shown smaller time frames. In this case, I'll start with the 1 minute. This is going to be harder for the beginner, but I want to demonstrate the script at the same time, right? And I want to show you how I can really make money with this. The goal, by the way, the money goal, by the way, is I want to turn a $1,000 account into a $2,000 account. That's the goal. Okay, I'm going to buy this now. Hold on. Let me put my size in here. Where's my, I can't see what I'm doing. There we go. Okay, so I got 3. I'm going to buy 2. All right, I'm looking to buy 2. And let me make sure it's the right thing. Yeah. Okay, so I'm buying 2 contracts. All right, so I'm long 2 contracts. Now, this is not really a big position for this thing. In fact, I'm going to buy 3 more. 5 is more appropriate. You know, if this was Bitcoin, I'd only do 1 or 2. Okay, now, these are perpetual futures. I will be using leverage. No more than 30 times, right? I don't need to use 100 times leverage and all that stuff. No more than 30 to 1, really. I don't really need more than that for Ethereum because, I mean, at most, I'll be 5 to 10 contracts, maybe 20 contracts if I have to add in a situation, but that's it. I know this in advance, right? Now, I'm following the long signal because Ethereum is generally long. It's bullish. We determined that earlier. I'm not going to go for short signals in this environment right now. So I'm following this. Now, keep in mind, this is why you should be aware of counter trend and don't get confused by it. Counter trend signals are going to be very low probability in this environment, although they can work. The idea is to not take these random signals. Trade Scanner Pro can generate a lot of random signals. I mean, look at this situation, right? It's generally bullish. Tried over here. This stopped out. Okay, how much was this? This thing lost like 20 points on that move, right? This one, how about this one over here, this green one? This one lost a point. Now, this is based on the stop loss and based on the profit objective. The Trade Scanner Pro gives you those, right? Stop loss, the profit objective. So If the price can reach the profit objective or near it, I start to get out. I want to take money off the table. It doesn't have to reach it, right? Those are just basically suggestions. That's what they are. So let's see how this thing behaves, and let's see if I can get some stability here. Now, I'm trying to stick to the side of the general trend. This momentum may be problematic. We have lower highs, but we're showing a little bit of support near these lows, and we have this low in place right here. So this is what I have to do. I'm trying this. If this fails and stops me out, I'm not going to be in a hurry to get back in until we break some sort of minor resistance. So I'm using the structure around me to determine how I should process information, right? So right now, this rejection point where I'm getting, I'm losing money on that. It rejected this area right here. If we can't break that, so I may get stopped out, right? And then maybe it turns around and tries again. I'm not going to take that second long until we clear this little minor resistance. That's going to be my cue to start looking for longs again. And I may not, here, this is going to get stopped out. And you got to respect these levels, by the way. Here, so I got 5. Let me put this here. It stops out. I'm going to bang it out. Right. When it stops out, it goes, the signal will vanish. Okay. Sometimes it goes right to it. And then, okay, let me get out. Okay. So I'm out. All right. Now, and it may turn right around there. Here's the thing. If it turns around there, I'm not going to get back in. Right. What I'm going to do is I'm going to wait until this little minor resistance here. Remember, this is a 1-minute chart. This little minor resistance needs to be compromised, because right now what that's telling me is that's a lower high. And even though the support should hold, as long as that lower high is in play, this support may be suspect. So in order to prove to me that this support is going to be back in play and we're going to start working our way higher, we need to break a resistance, right? In a bullish environment, we should be breaking highs, not respecting lower highs. So this is not behaving right. Okay. Now, do I turn around and start shorting this? It's a high risk area for a short. It might be a good short, but if I'm going to short it, I'm not going to short it now. Here, I'm not going to do that. So when do I short it then? If I'm going to short it? Well, for one, this thing's going to have to break much lower, and then it's going to have to bounce. That's what it's going to have to do. And that can take a while. So I'm not going to be in a hurry to short this thing. That's how you have to process this information. It's not easy, and it requires a lot of patience, right? So you notice I banged out of the long. This thing tried to break lower. I'm not reacting to it. I would like to see another signal, but we're going to have to take this out first. Now, this thing, what it may do is it may pop up a bit. Like let's say it pops up to this point right here. Let's say it pops up there, right? In fact, I could draw like a little line. Let's say we get a pop-up like this. And then after that pop-up, it pulls back again and does something like that. That situation will give us another lower high. But here's the thing. If that lower high, if that new lower high, I'm just going to erase that. If that new lower high, let's say it's right there, that becomes our new lower high, and that's compromised, that's my sign to start looking for longs again. Because what's happening there is the structure's changing back to align with the bigger picture. This may be confusing for some, and that's why the new version of the Trade Scanner Pro is basically going to compensate for that. So you won't have to sit there and be like, oh, I don't know about this line. I don't know about that line, right? You won't have to do that. But in fact, we're going to color code the candles, and the candles will tell you bullish mode, not so bullish mode, bearish mode, not so bearish mode. And it's going to be intuitive with the colors. So you'll know, oh, okay, this thing is really bullish right now, or it's really bearish right now, or it's mixed right now. And those mixed, most of the time, I'm going to tell you right now, most of the time, because look, just looking back at our tests and stuff, most of the time, like this type of price action right here, right? This most likely would show up as mixed, right? This type of price action, and you would get no signals. So like this signal probably would not have appeared. This one probably would not have appeared. This one might have appeared, but it depends on when the market becomes mixed. Once we define mixed, the signals stop. And what that's going to do is that's going to clean up lots of random trades. So the Trade Scanner Pro is going to trade a lot less. It's going to call a lot less signals, which is what we want, because the ones that it calls are going to be more reliable. All right, so nice break here. Let's see what's going on in the bigger picture. Let's zoom back out to the hourly chart, okay, and see what's happening. So we broke this support on the hourly. Interesting. All right, I'm sorry, this is a 15-minute, not an hourly. This is a 15-minute chart, but the hourly is probably very similar. Let's take a look at the hourly. Here's the hourly, right? So we broke that hourly low. We're now coming back to this old resistance, which may act as a support level. It's possible, but I'm not going to be in a hurry to trade that. I'm not going to be in a hurry to test that out. Remember, we're going to assume here we're going to behave like real money is on the line, right? This is still a practice account, but I want to treat this like it's real money. So speaking of real money, that first trade, let's just take a look at the history there. That first trade cost me, account history, $52, right? These are the commissions. Are these the commissions? Yeah. 12.16. Right. Okay. So starting here, right, those are the commissions, right? Because I took that small position first. So that trade cost me like $52 or whatever, something like that I had to blow it out. And it's a good thing I only had 5 contracts on, right? There is something to be said about sizing. And when you're like in a lower probability situation, you may get a setup in an environment that may point to a lower probability. That's when you size smaller. And if it starts to work, like for example, if that trade really started to move, right, and started moving higher and maybe give me a chance to add, I would add my other half. So with Ethereum, I'm doing that 5 units at a time, 5 contracts at a time. So if I'm wrong and I do something, whatever, and I get caught in something, I lose a little bit of money, right? I'm not losing hundreds of dollars. And by the way, when you're working with $1,000 account, I don't have a whole lot of flexibility. So a couple of rules: no overnights are allowed in a situation like that. I have a daily loss limit of $200. So if I go minus 200 or a little bit more or whatever, done. No more trades. You have to respect those things. If you don't, you wipe out the account. Again, we're working with $1,000 account. It's a small account. You know, if I was working with a $10,000 account or a $20,000 account, you have a lot more flexibility, but not on a $1,000 account. So everything has to be very strict. Is it possible to add feature to the script that scans markets and lists pairs that script gives? Yes, can. That's a good question. That's going to be one of our overlays. So we're going to have like a table. I've explained this before. We're going to have like a matrix on the chart, like a table. And it'll be like a table. It'll look like this. It'll look like a rectangle on the chart. And inside that rectangle, you can input markets that you're interested in, like I think up to 10 markets. And then you can input the time frames that you want to scan on, and it will show you the status of each time frame, if there's a signal there, or if it's bullish or bearish. Like, it's going to give you the status. So you don't have to jump around from chart to chart or time frame to time frame. You'll be able to see it all on one nice organized table. So Stian has like the basic part of that done, but we still have to do these updates, because the base script, which is what you're looking at here, everything is going to follow that. So that has to be first updated, and then we can do the other 2. We're going to have 2 overlays: support and resistance levels on the chart, which he also has that. He has like a version of that done. And then we're going to have the scan matrix, so whatever you want to call that. We're going to have the table. So that's coming. So good question. That's definitely coming. All right. So again, I'm waiting for something here. Again, we're going to treat this like it's real money. there's something to be said about this broader structure being bullish, but right now this thing is just looking like garbage, right? I'm just curious, what's Bitcoin up to? Let's just put Bitcoin back on the chart real quick. Okay, BTC, or actually I could just type in Bitcoin, Perp. Let's just see what's going on here. Is Bitcoin pulling back? Well, yeah, it's pulled back. Look at that. Same situation, very similar. Trying to do a double bottom. Failed low, right? Double bottom, failed low. This could turn into a long. Where's Bitcoin now? 105,840. Wow, interesting. And the peak was 107,774. Imagine all those people that got long. It'll go back up. It might go back up, but this thing may go to 103 also. And that's not a big move. This is just noise we're dealing with. All right, let's go back to Ethereum. So that Ethereum support break should call for an adjustment to our thinking. All right. Calls for an adjustment. Supports should hold, not break. So if this is a clear break. This is clearly broken. We can all agree on that. So that will justify shorts. I'm open to the short side now because the support has been cleared. Now, in order for me to go, so this is what I'm going to say here is a little more advanced. And I'm going to use the structure as the guide. Right? We have a lower high over here. We have a lower high up here. Until those lower highs are compromised, I'm going to say it's okay to work on the short side now. Right? As a day trader, as someone working on a 1 minute time frame, we have to be very flexible. So also, if you notice my momentum on my 1 minute, it says trend is bearish, right? So I'm going to work with that. In the new version of the Trade Scanner Pro, we're going to be able to see that by the color code of the candles, right? Now I don't have to explain all that. We'll be able to see it. Anyway, but that's being worked on. So if I'm going to work on the short side, this thing, it says here, trend is bearish. This thing is looking for shorts, but the problem right now is in order for me to get a short signal, it has to retrace. And I may not get that for a while on my 1 minute chart. So what do? I look on a smaller time frame. As what Jerry Seinfeld would say. Look at this short from back here. Man, that's a 15-second chart. Okay. If we're going to get a pullback to trade on the bearish side, we're going to see it here first. Or even worse, a 5-second chart. Let's see the 5-second chart. Look at this. So these red columns are heads up, where a signal is likely to appear soon, right? So it's based on the candle close. Next couple of candles, we may get a signal. We may get a short signal here. All right. Notice this short signal. That was worth a little something, right? So a 5-second chart is kind of ridiculous, but it allows me to demonstrate the script and the action, and I'll try it. Okay, let's take a look between the 5 and the 15-second. By the way, in order to get these time frames with TradingView, in order to get these there it is. All right, hold on. Got a green candle. Wait. Let's see. Okay, we're gonna get some red continuation. All right, I'm shorting it. All right, so I got 5 short. Again, it's my initial position. If it starts to work, again, this is kind of, it's a 5-second chart. It's going to be very noisy. Let's see if that bearish momentum follows through or not. Okay, but this is what it takes. Like, this is what you have to do. These sub 1 minute time frames are very noisy. I don't recommend them. But see what I mean? So I'll try it. No good. Out. Okay, let's go back to the 30-second. Look at that. Now, on these smaller time frames, let's go back to our 1 minute. Are we clearing? Look, we cleared a resistance. Blew right through it. Right? See that? Blew right through it. Okay, no problem. Looking for longs. I'll look for longs now, if that's what it wants to do. How much was that one cost? Let's see. I lost $27 on that one, right? Minus the commissions. All right. $27 isn't bad. So in total, I'm like minus $70 or something. All right, no big deal. I still got some room to play with. This is what you're going to deal with. That's why I like to show this in real time. So I can't fake anything here, right? Even though, yeah, this is a practice account, you're seeing how I'm managing the signals and how the changes. I tried this short and it just ran in my face. No problem. No problem. I tried it. That's what's going to happen. In fact, in those type of lower probability situations, you can work with like less size, 3 contracts. All right, whatever. So you lose even less. No problem. But I'm not going to sit here and hold that, blow it out right away. All right, now let's see. This is my 1 minute. Let's look around here. I'm going to check all my sub 1 minutes. Now, see this little peak right here? That's the peak that we were looking at, that we were observing on the 1 minute that I said, if it clears it, we can look for longs, right? Okay. So that's the peak right here. And we're turning pretty much in the vicinity. We're turning right around. So I will be open to one more sell signal if I get it like now, right? Because we're close enough. We're close enough. It broke, but it turned right around. Okay, I'll give that a try. Let's wait for the signal though. It's based on the closing candle, right? Let's wait for the signal. We got the heads up. So a signal should be appearing in the next candle or so, next couple of candles. That's what these red columns and these orange candles represent. That's heads up. Hey, Savi, how are you? Oh, that's right. I forgot to mention. Yeah, we have the CMT Association holiday party tomorrow in New York City on Stone Street at this place. So Savi's coming. Cool. I got Savi, got another guy coming. I'm going to be there at the holiday party. That should be there's going to be food and drinks and all CMT people there. So that's going to be a lot of fun. They know how to party, those guys. So Savi, it'll be good to see you again. Cool. I'm excited. So all right. So let's see if this trade can happen here. All right. Now, what I'm doing is aggressive. For beginners, I recommend working on 15-minute charts, 5-minute charts. Like your 15-minute would be your base chart. And if you want to go lower, you would look at 5-minute, 3-minute, 2-minute, 1 minute. If you have to go lower, rather than starting at 1 minute and going to like 30-second, 15-second, 5-second. Does that make sense? It's not a good idea generally. So now look at this. Look how this thing is just running, right? It's running away. All right, no problem. Now we've pretty much cleared this. We've cleared this. Okay, no problem. No signal, nothing to do yet. Let's just see what happens. Now notice, I'm not projecting anything. I'm not saying, whoa, I think it's going to go up here. I don't think anything. I'm just following. I'm just listening. And I'm just looking at the levels and I'm saying, okay, it broke this one. Okay, it respected this one. And then based on that, I adjust. So right now it's acting bullish. All right, but I'm not reacting yet. It's acting more bullish. I thought I might get a short signal here. I never got it. It's trying again to give me another short signal, right? That's what these warnings are, these heads up. But on a small time frame like this, on a sub 1 minute time frame, they're going to be very noisy. They're going to be less reliable. All right, no problem, but I'm still going to wait for a signal. All right, I'm not going to chase this thing. Let's just see what this thing does. If I can get the failure, if I can get the signal somewhere in this vicinity, I'll try it. If this thing just keeps climbing and climbing and climbing, okay, cool, no problem. I'll look for longs then. I'll start looking for longs. But right now, notice the momentum is still bearish. Let's see if we get that next short signal. Let's see. That's one of the nice things about the Trade Scanner Pro is without it, I'm more likely to react. Oh, look, bearish pin bar. Oh, look, doji over here, followed by red, break of blah, blah, blah. Like I'm more likely to react to that information. With a Trade Scanner Pro, basically makes you wait for the signal. Just wait. It'll come. Especially with all these little heads up, it's telling me that there's a signal that's close by. There's a signal that's near, right? That's the whole point of that. I mean, if you're super aggressive, you could start the trade early on those, but that's, especially with sub 1 minute time frames, that's often a very bad idea because you get caught in situations like this where it just keeps running on you like that, right? Because you can get warnings for a while and then the signal never comes and then this thing just keeps going. That's what happens like on those slow grind situations. Remember what I said earlier, this is not a great time of day to do this because You can see why. It grinds one way, right? And then it turns around and grinds the other way. That's hard to trade because you're not getting markets that go to a point and then react, right? They just kind of grind in a straight line, and they're hard to play. So that's why you need markets with more volume, momentum, times of momentum, because when you get a move, it's a pronounced move, right? Like this move, for example, right? This bearish movement in a higher volume environment or higher volume situation, you would get like a pullback like this, and then you get follow through. It would make that next low, which it's not doing now. Here's our signal. Now let's see how we can deal with this. So I'm not rushing into this thing. I want to see, for one, let's judge the candles. This is a 30-second chart. I would like to see at least maybe some kind of red candle pushing into these. Ideally, break that low of 2 candles back. That's just what I want to see. All right. Now, I'll start a small position here at 3 contracts. Wait, I'm waiting, because if I get a green candle right away, all right, I'll try one red. Got a red candle. So 3 contracts. That's smaller than my typical position, right? In case it does this on me, I only have 3 contracts. So that's not much. If this thing starts compromising like these lows over here, I'll add. In fact, I'll add 3 more. So I'll go to 6 if it can do that. If it goes the wrong way on me, I do nothing. I wait to see if we go to the stop. But the thing is, in that situation, if I lose, I'm going to lose less because I have a smaller position on. Now, it's also possible that it gets me to short more. Like, it's very possible that we go here to this low and I short more, and then it turns around on me and goes back up here, right? It's very possible that it can do that. So you have to keep that in mind. When you have real money on the line, you have to be very nimble, right? Oh, there we go. Okay. I like that. Oh, yeah. All right. Let's short more. Let's short more. Okay. Got 3 more on. Now, hopefully that candle doesn't turn into a gigantic pin bar like it's doing. Yeah. Now, if you notice on this, that's a good start. Hopefully that gives us something. The trailing stop is now in play. This is why I show sub 1 minute time frames, because this would take forever on a larger time frame. This trailing stop, this orange line, helps me control risk. And if I have a winner and that winner decides to run randomly, this thing will more likely keep me in the trade. And that's how you win in the long run, because that allows me to capture bigger winning trades compared to my losing trades. That's very important. I cannot emphasize that enough. That's how you make money. You have your setup, you wait for your setup. Some setups are going to fail. Keep this in mind. You can make money on a system that only wins 50% of the time. How do you make money with that? Your losing trades are a fraction of your winning trades. That is how you make money on a 50% system. The problem with 50% system is there's also a cost that you have to add into that. But you can actually make money on a 50% win rate system. It's all about how you manage the losses. And that's what I tell people. This game, if there's any skill, right? There's not too many skills in this game. This is mostly a game of chance, especially the way most people play it. The skill is not where you think it is. Everyone thinks the skill is, charts, oscillators, ICT, right? That's what they think the skill is. That's not the skill. The skill is how you manage losses. That's the skill. Recognizing when you're wrong, managing the loss. That is the skill. When you know how to take a loss and you know how to lose effectively, that is when you win. People don't understand this. Yes, it's counterintuitive. Oh, but I lost money. I don't want to lose. Because you focus on winning and you try to squeeze out every penny, you want to maximize the win, that is why you lose. The emphasis should be on the losing portion of the whole equation. How do you keep that loss small? Because a win is easy to manage. If it's winning, just let it ride. Okay, cool. A winner is easy. No one complains about a winner, right? But the losing trades are the ones that wipe out your account. Winning trades are not going to wipe out your account. So it's the losing trade that has to be focused on, and you have to have that like to a science on how to manage that loss. If you focus all your energy and time on that, your chances of being a winning trader are greater. Because understand, the typical trader, especially retail, they focus on winners. They focus on, I'm going to be a millionaire tomorrow. You know what they focus on. That's why they lose. They can't get out of their own way. They can't get beyond their own greed and all the things that point them on the wrong path. That's what it is. It took me a long time to figure out what I just explained to you. Okay, a long time, like over a decade to figure that out. That the secret, if there's a secret, is how you manage a losing trade. So let's see how this thing is not really performing that good. Notice we're not breaking this level yet. Remember that nice big candle that I had there for a moment, and then it turned right around on me? Notice it's not it's respecting that level. I mean, this is a 30-second chart, and it can blow it at any moment. It could just like blow it out of the way. But for now, it's respecting it. All right, no problem. I'm going to try to deal with this. Going to be patient, give it a chance. Going back to my entry price. Definitely don't like to see that, but let's see what happens. Now, one thing that I notice here that I don't like is there's a higher low now in place. Higher low means higher high. So if this thing doesn't fail in the next candle or so, I'm going to have to blow this thing out. Because this structure, this new structure now, higher low, right? Higher low, that's all bullish. That structure is turning bullish again. Possibly. All right, before we had this bearish. Remember I said bearish, lower highs, lower highs. Now we're turning higher low. Not a good sign if you're short. Great if you're long. All right, so that's why you got to respect the levels. You got to respect what this thing is telling you. And you have to look at it in light of the structure, as the structure is, developing here. How many do I have on? I have 6. All right, so I got to make sure I'm prepared to blow out 6. Going to have to buy them back. If this thing doesn't give me the failed high right now, I'm buying them back. Now, so this what I'm showing you here is basically like practice. For me, yes, it's a practice account, but this is practice because this is what I'm going to be doing when I'm on the decentralized exchange. What you see here and the numbers that you see on my P&L, that is what it's going to look like. Okay? And this is the nonsense we're going to be dealing with. Now, when I'm on the real account, though, like I said, I'm not going to trade just one day a week. Right now I'm using my Monday stream as one of the days, but I will probably trade a second or third day, but not at the same time. I'm not going to pop on at 3 o'clock on a Wednesday to do this. I may pop on at 10 a.m. Actually, that's when I really trade. I'll probably pop on I may pop on, for example, like on a Saturday at like 10 p.m. at night, my time. I may just pop on randomly. I'm not going to schedule it in advance. I'm just going to pop on. If you're not available, it's okay. You can watch the stream after the fact. But the reason why I'm streaming it is because, like I said before, I want to document the trades. So if I get my $1,000 account up to $2,000, you can go back and watch every trade. So so those clowns, he doesn't really trade. He doesn't really trade. Yeah, you'll so you can't argue with live streams when I'm showing you the real money account. Okay. Yeah, it's only $1,000, but why 1,000? Because that's realistic for most people. Okay. All right. So this thing was kind of going there for me a bit while I was ranting. Oh, there it goes again. All right. Remember, I'm on a 30-second chart. And when I'm doing this for real, I'm going to have to use sub 1 minute time frames. I mean, I'm going to do it like I would do it. Is this best for beginners? It's good for you to see, but it's going to be hard for you to emulate when you don't have the experience that I have. It's going to be hard, but it's better than, nothing. At least you're seeing reality here. All right. So let's see. All right. So here's what I'm looking for. We're back up my, what is this line here? This is the support line that I drew, right? This is the support line over here. And we're now breaking that little minor support. Okay, cool. I like that. Remember what I was saying before I almost got stopped out. What I was saying, if I don't get the failed high here, I'm going to have to get out. Okay, profit objective. Let's get out of 3. Man, that thing touched and bounced right off of it. Can we go back to it? Can we go back? A little more? A little more? Yeah, no. Let's see. I'm going to buy 3 back. I should have bought more, right? I always say that after the fact. I should have bought that. I should have shorted my whole account. All right, I'm going to buy 3 back. All right, so now I have 3 on. All right, so let's see that now I covered 3 for a profit. Okay, cool. Now let's see if the trailing stop can keep me in for a little bit of a move here. Let's see how long it can keep me in. There's my trailing stop. I don't have to guess where to put it. Let's see where this thing goes. Now, a lot of times, remember, I'm on a 30-second chart. A lot of times what happens in these situations is it'll bounce right back, right? It'll come off the profit objective. This is why I locked some in, and it'll go all the way back to my entry and then stop me out, right? That happens. You have to be okay with that. Right, at this point, this is where the Trade Scanner Pro shines the greatest, because this is where I don't think at all. I don't have to think. I've locked in some profit. My trade is green. It's now all up to the trailing stop. So I don't have to think here. I'm not doing any type of analysis. I'm not coming up with any opinions. I'm not getting married to anything. I'm just waiting. Okay? And either we go up here and we touch this thing and I get out, or we get another red candle and this thing makes a lower low. So, wow, this structure changed fast. 5 minutes ago, I was talking about how we had a bullish structure and good for longs, right? And now we broke that. Now we're in a possible bearish structure here again. It changes fast and you have to adjust. I now, and this thing may become bullish again, right? Bullish, bearish, back to bullish. Let's see. Now, that's why it's important also to have a profit objective, because if I had no profit objective, I wouldn't have gotten out of that half of my position. I wouldn't have gotten out. I would have held on, because that's human nature, right? You'd be like, oh, I'm going to hold on. This thing is Ethereum's going to go to 0 and I'm going to be a millionaire. And you hold on to it. And then you're not sure what to do when this happens. The Trade Scanner Pro gives you that thought structure. That's why it's so hard to do this, by the way. We're playing mostly a random game, and you can't get out of your own way. That's the problem. You have to have a very open mind. You cannot be assertive. You have to be passive. You have to be a follower. The market is the leader. The market knows all. The market knows everything. You know nothing. You just wait for it to give you signals, and then you adjust. That's the mindset. If you don't have that mindset, you have very little chance of doing this consistently. You could do it randomly. People make money randomly all the time. I just saw a video about a chicken actually making money. A chicken, an actual chicken. It would peck like a buy or sell, and it actually managed to beat like a prop firm thing, and it got like an account, and it actually made some money. A chicken. Okay, so what is that a testament of? Random. It randomly, the environment happened a certain way, it randomly pecked on the right buttons, and it randomly made money. And what people don't understand is once the environment changes, that chicken is probably going to become unprofitable very quickly. Google it. Okay. So you have to understand, anyone can have a random run. Consistency is another story. And that comes from having some sort of advantage. Does the Trade Scanner Pro give you a specific advantage? No, it doesn't. But what it does do is it gives you a thought structure, which is going to help minimize the random. An actual advantage, some sort of statistical anomaly, that's going to be hard for us as retail traders to derive, to engineer, or to recognize. But I can tell you that it begins with pattern recognition, because these patterns that we look at in the market are nothing more than patterns of human behavior. That is all they are. You have all these fancy words for things and all these ICT people. These people are ridiculous. Don't even get me started with ICT. I'll rant on that for like 3 hours. But they come up with all this complicated terminology and all these fancy words. And really, after everything is said and done, all we are looking at are behavioral patterns. People voting with their money, buying and selling. And it's driven by greed and fear, which are emotions, irrational forces. And they express themselves as patterns in price. When you understand these behaviors on a very intimate level, you can position yourself to capitalize on them. That is what I do. Now, it takes a while to recognize it on that level. One of the things that I like about peer-to-peer, I'm still watching this trade, by the way. One of the things that I like about the peer-to-peer exchange, I'm going to explain, is the decentralized exchange, is that it is peer-to-peer and there's no central market maker. And that's a nice thing, because you know what that means? I'm sure that there's probably market makers on that exchange. I don't know. But the thing is, there's also a chance that when I take trades, it'll be against a retail trader. And that's great for me. You know why? Because I understand where they go wrong. And I'm looking to position myself on the other side of those behaviors. As a group, people make these mistakes, especially beginners, right? They sell the bottom, they buy the top. They react to irrelevant information, and I can recognize those patterns. And I have more experience than the typical retail trader. That gives me an advantage. So if I'm taking the other side of your trade, you might be right, because again, markets are random, but there's a better chance that I'm going to be right, because most likely you're making a mistake. Most likely you're buying this up here, okay? Most likely you're buying this and I'm selling it to you, okay? The failed high. So that's, or you're selling the bottom, right? You're getting short right here, just like I was before. You short that, and I'm looking to buy that, typically. I'm not right all the time. I'm just saying. Peer-to-peer means I'm not up against a market maker. I'm up against a retail, or I don't know who I'm up against, but it's not a centralized market maker who has more information and they have more information than I do, and they can take advantage of that. Just another example, because I mess around with some of these other brokers and stuff, and I look at their spreads. The spread alone, the bid-ask spread that the market maker takes advantage of, gives them a huge advantage. Just think about this. If I'm trying to sell the top, if I'm trying to short the top, for example, I got to hit their bid, right? So automatically, this trade is against me by some ridiculous spread, because if I want to get out, I have to get out way higher, and the market hasn't even moved yet. So the market maker essentially has a head start on me. If I'm right and the market goes lower, the market maker has a head start. They can get out right away for a very tiny loss, if that, or hedge it or whatever. They have a head start. If I'm wrong, they're automatically in the profit, and they're making more money, and they can let it ride, right? For example. But market makers, they don't trade. They're not sitting there looking at charts and trying to take advantage of trends and all that nonsense. They don't play that game that we play. But my point is, they have a huge advantage over us. And we're the ones, the retail trader, we really have to be right. Okay? We really have to be right. They don't. And that's how they benefit. The whole point of the market maker is they let us in and out of the market. When everyone wants to sell, they have to buy it. And everyone wants to buy, they have to sell it. And they get paid for that. Okay? All right, so I don't see anything happening here. This thing is not progressing, as we can see. My trade is still green, but not really. How much is it up? Barely. I'm basically flat. Okay. We have my trailing stop has advanced almost to break even. So this is basically a risk-free trade. I'm getting a heads up right now in this trade, a warning that another short signal may be coming. Well, it went away. All right. But this is what I mean. These slow grinds are ridiculous. Like they just, that's the market. It's the way it is. Not one red little candle in there, not one. Okay. But that's what you got to deal with. Low volume, you get that. At the same time, if a red candle shows up, it may be harsh and very, very quick, like these were over here. So we have to see. Just have to wait and let it do its thing. Now, another judgment I could make is, we were getting bearish. We had the lower high, but no lower low. Where's my lower low? There is no lower low here. You see that? So this higher low may be an inflection point. That may be an action point that I need to keep in mind. Again, it's a 30-second chart, so it's not going to be the most reliable. But I'm looking at structure here. Remember what I said before? We gotta break above here to look for longs, right? We formed a lower high here relative to that, but no lower lows. So it may be changing again. And it could constantly do that. Usually in a range bound situation, when it gets into a range, you get like lower lows followed by higher lows, followed by lower high. Like it just turns into a mess until you break out. And that's why you have to keep an eye on the broader level, right? Like this level over here, like that level is one level, and this level is the other level. All right, this thing just went back to break even on me with a potential signal coming. So what is this thing? All right, it's minus $7 on me. I should blow this out. What time is it? All right, I'm going to give this a couple more minutes. I got these warnings. I'm going to give it, I don't like that. Let me get out. I just got out. Okay, so it's a good thing I locked in my profit earlier on that trade when it went to the profit objective. So let's take a look at this one. So I made $18 on that. Yeah, $18. And I lost 16. All right, that sucks. So basically break even. But whatever. What am I going to do? This is what I'm going to be dealing with. Also, I'm not throwing on full size, right? The most size I had there was 6 contracts, not 10, not 20. This is not a 10 or 20 type of contract environment. If this was like a clear-cut trend going one way or the other, then I would be more likely to do that. That's when you want to do the 10 contracts or add 5 right away sort of thing. This environment, it's like, all right, you just toss around 3, maybe add if the situation calls for it. But this is not very productive price action. Does that make sense? Any questions? All right, you guys. So I'm going to be wrapping this up here in a moment. I don't see a lot of people watching anyway. What do you guys like of the format? Do you want to see the decentralized exchange trade on Ethereum and all that stuff? Does that sound good to you guys? I know the week before you guys were all excited about it. I want to make sure you guys are still excited about it because, it's kind of a pain for me to set all that up. I want to make sure it's worthwhile. I have no problem with trying to, do a, I have no problem trying to do, with the attempt of growing $1,000 account into a $2,000 account. I think that'll be fun and exciting. Okay, cool. Yeah, they're coming. It's Steen. Like I said, Steen isn't feeling well, and so things are a little slow in that area. But once he's back on track, he's the guy. We have the ideas. He has the instructions. He's got a lot of other things on his plate, but he's the guy. He builds it. So, all right. So let's just see. I don't see anything. There's nothing to do here at the moment. Our structure. Let's go back to our 1 minute. All right, because that's a 30-second. This is our 1 minute over here. I mean, look at this nonsense, right? When I see things like this, it just goes like just straight line. All right. Slow. This is slow grind. I don't like slow grinds. This is a higher low. We have a higher high. This structure is bullish. Again. And that bullish structure does coincide with the broader bullish structure. I mean, we had a little pullback here. This is a failed low situation, basically, followed by higher low. So this thing may pull back, but I should be looking to buy pullbacks based on this structure. I should be looking to buy pullbacks. Also, the script agrees with me. It says back to bullish, right? So my 1 minute, if you notice, I have not had a signal on my 1 minute since back here. It's been quite some time. How long is that? 152 minutes ago. That's almost 3 hours. It's like 2.5 hours, right? I've not gotten a signal. By the way, when you use this with TradingView on the free version, which you could set up notifications. See this? You could set up notifications. So you don't have to wait around 2.5 hours for a signal. You could just get a notification on your phone or wherever you want to receive it, by email, however you want to get that. Now, what I wanted to show you here is when you have a situation like this and the market's just going to be slow and just give you the slow grind, this is really where you can spot stuff on a small time frame, like a 5 second, for example. This is a 5 second chart. Notice the 5 second chart gave a couple of short signals. Man, this one failed. Look at that. And now the 5 second chart is trying to give us longs. Okay, so this is sometimes how low you have to go. This is where you have to look for a signal, because that's our little pullback. Remember, the Trade Scanner Pro is a pullback. Primarily, it's a pullback scanner. It's looking for pullbacks of some sort of trend. This trend structure on a 5 second, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs. Okay. It turned looking for longs. This long tried to go somewhere. Looks like it not for long. And now it's turning again. But remember, the bigger picture is still generally bullish, and that you should sort of keep that in the back of your head. This thing tried to give us another long. There's another long right here. Notice the stops on these are going to be very tight, right? It's a 5 second chart. I'll try this for fun. I got 3 contracts there. If I get another green candle, all right, I'll give it a try for 3 contracts. Let's see if that goes anywhere. Now, again, this is the type of situation. I'm not going to load up with 10 or whatever. I'm doing a fraction of my normal size, right? If I'm going to do 5 at a time, I'm basically half of that, okay? And if I'm wrong, I'm going to lose a little bit of dollars, a couple of dollars. If I'm right, I'll make a couple of dollars. Okay, look, it went straight to the profit objective. Okay, oh, it's going further. Okay, nice. So if it does something like that, I could go back to my 15 second. Do I have anything on my 15 second? I just want to see. Ooh, look at that. So I got the higher low. Nice. All right, so I'll use my 5 second to track that trade because I have the trailing stop. See the trailing stop, how quickly it popped up? See that? All right, so it's beyond the profit objective. All right, let me take at least 1 contract off the table. All right, I had 3. Now I only have 2. Okay, this thing wants to do something stupid. Let's let it do stupid. Act stupid. All right, look, my trailing stop went to my profit objective. This is nice when this happens like on a 1 minute because usually the move is really big, right? But all right, whatever. We gave it a try on our 5 second chart and it gave us a little green. Cool. This is what you have to do sometimes in these slow grind situations, because if this thing doesn't really pull back, sometimes that's what happens in a slow grind. It doesn't pull back, and it's really annoying to watch, right? So if these candles don't pull back, what happens is they just keep going, right? Like that. Here, I want to draw a little square. What happens is in the slow grind, they just keep doing this. Okay. Oh, this one's going to stop out maybe, but they just keep doing this. I have stopped out. Let me get out of my 2. Let me get out of my 2 before I give it all back. All right. And sometimes the grind just continues and continues and continues, like this kind of situation here, right? It just continues and it continues and it continues. Look, that one's going to continue on me. Another signal. I'm not going to take that one, but that's what happens. I'm just curious how much I made back on that. Not much. $4, $8. All right, I made $8 back. Not much. I had small size on that. Like if you're gonna play, sometimes when these are crystal clear, you want to play like you really want to play around like this here. Like I'll try it. Since it's on paper, let's just try it. I'm gonna go for 10. If I get another green another green candle there, if that thing goes back to green, I'm not in yet. I'm just gonna play around with this. Let's just see, just for fun. I'm gonna throw in 10, but it's got to go green. This may stop out, right? No problem. I'm not in it. That's the thing. When you're dealing with such a small time frame, you're going to get signals all over the place, and they're not going to go very far, right? They're going to be very unreliable. But when you catch one that runs, it's just ridiculous. See, that one's gone. No problem. Not in it. But let's see what happens if we get another one. How much time is it? All right, I'll do a couple more minutes. Let's see if we get another signal. You guys having fun with this? I hope you guys are. Oh, by the way, I never even went over my Trade Scanner Pro stuff. There's a link in the description. We get a consolidation over here. If you want to try the Trade Scanner Pro out for 14 days, you can do it for free. Having fun? Cool. Booty cheeks. Glad someone's having fun around here. Because, gotta have fun all by myself. All by myself. Look at this consolidation. All right, nothing to do here. Nothing to do. How many of you guys have the Trade Scanner Pro that can follow along? Because that's really eventually I'd like you guys to follow along, even if it's on paper, right? That's a good way to learn. You should be following along on paper. Man, this thing's not going to give me another signal. I'm on the smallest time frame, and it's not going to give me another signal. Actually, I can go to a 1 minute, but that would be stupid. Like I'm not doing that. 1 minute, we're going to get like signals every 2 seconds. It's just going to be ridiculous. No signal. All right, give it another minute. I mean, look at this. In just this span of time, we had like 3 signals. But we're not getting one. Okay. So out of the people that are watching here, I'm sure a couple of you have the Trade Scanner Pro. If you don't have it, again, you can subscribe, right? In fact, I'll show you the screen real quick. You go here, Trade Scanner Pro screen, Market Signals Pro website. You go over here, right? 14-day free trial. You click on subscribe now. That's the yearly. You could do yearly or monthly. Yearly, you're saving 25%, right? You have to just make sure that you fill in this field right here. You got to make sure you put your username in that field and do it properly. I'm getting guys going in there and they're leaving it blank because they're not paying attention. Oh, look at this pullback. They're not paying attention. And if you can't pay attention to a detail like that, and then I get an email, oh, can you tell me how to? Oh, there it is. Look, I'm gonna. This is a gamble. All right, you guys want to watch me gamble? I'm gambling with fake money. Man, right to the stop, man. Come on, you could have made this a little more fun. I'm going to give this another. If the next candle takes out this, look, see, you got another signal. That's what I was expecting. Let's see what happens with that. I'm not going to add to. Oh, that's no good. I'm not going to add or anything. I'm just going to blow it out. Because again, this is a 5 second. It's very erratic. It's going to be all over the place. Let's see if it gives us the. Let's see if it gives us the pop. No, pop the wrong way. All right, minus $12. Another signal. See, this is what you got to deal with on the 5 second. Oh, look, that one's going my way. Right, green. I haven't even done anything. I took the position and I haven't even gotten out yet. It just keeps giving me signals. All right, because I'm too slow to even get to the button to get out. Let's see what happens. I was minus $12. I'm minus $0 right now. Can I get a green candle to pop up on me? It might pop up the way this thing's moving. Let's see. Let's see. I'm like one of those gambling guys on TikTok or on Kick, where they they give them the fake money to gamble, and then they lose like $1 million, and people think it's real. Yeah. Trading View gave me some fake money to gamble with. Oh, that's no good. Am I going to get another signal? Oh, look at that. Man, I'm still in the trade. This is random at its best. Okay, another signal. My P&L is still flat. Look how many signals I got here. This is the fourth signal. In what, like a minute? Like, this is ridiculous, right? This is why I tell people you really got to be very careful with these small time frames. And you can't overreact to them. Let's go back to the 15-second. Oh, look where we are. Let's just kind of evaluate what's happening here. We have a consolidation, a higher low consolidation. This thing may break to the low side of it. It may break to the high side of it. I mean, theoretically in price there, it's breaking the low side of it. Theoretically, this thing should hold that support, theoretically, and it should make the higher high, right? If this overall structure is going to stay intact. And you say, well, when is it no longer intact? When this low is cleared. When that low is cleared, the structure is no longer intact, right? It can go anywhere from there. It may go higher, it may go lower, but the bullish part is pretty much like in question at that point. See how it kind of held this? And a signal popped up there and it vanished. This is the 15-second chart. It's very noisy. Let's look at the 30-second. Anything here? No, you still see the higher low consolidation. How about the 1 minute? Nothing. No heads up, nothing. No signals, nothing. So essentially, I'm just playing noise here. This is just nothing but noise. We don't have anything on a 1 minute chart. All right? That's why you set up your notification, you walk away. All right, look, now we're going back to that range high, right? I mean, if you think about it, I'm just using price structure really to make my decisions here. Back to the range high. Can we clear it? Yes or no? I'm getting a rejection as soon as it touches it. What time is it? It's 5 o'clock. All right. So this is like every hour, a lot of times going into the hour, you get some kind of erratic price action. I'm sure there's reason for that. Some sort of order flow reason for that. I don't care what it is. I'm just going to have to blow out of this. I was just hoping to blow out of it green with my 10 contracts. So, all right, I'm going to wrap this up. See, I get the green. It prompts me to hold on. You know why? Because this is what I'm anticipating. I'm going to show you this. Because we have a consolidation, and typically this is what happens. If the general structure is bullish, it breaks like that. Because this is an imbalance. People are buying. See, here we go. Let's see if it blows at this time, you get the pop, right? You get the old pop. Because some people short it. They shouldn't short it. They get squeezed. Everyone else piles in. All the breakout traders pile in right here. All the ICT people. We have a market maker sweep imbalance, and it means like there's going to be a golden push of a blah blah blah. I can't even pretend to use their ridiculous language. All right. So I'm going to take it now. Goodbye. All right. So that was a quick $22. Right. Let's take a look at the paper trade there. $22. Minus $4 for the commission. What the F? $4. All right. But you get the idea. All right. I'm going to turn this off. Okay, you guys, any questions? We have a little fun here. I'm glad you guys are having fun. Any questions about anything? So, like I said, hopefully by next week, I will have the real money situation in play, okay, using a decentralized exchange. Oh, look at that. I should have held on. I'm going to show you how I, like what's involved in that setup. I know it may be it may intimidate some people, but it's really not that hard. You just have to have a wallet. You send money to the wallet, whatever the coin is, USDC in my case, and then you can connect that wallet to the exchange, and then that's where the transactions happen. Right? That's where the magic happens. So, as you can see, I was throwing around some Ethereum contracts here. I think net I'm basically minus a little bit, but I'm not losing hundreds of dollars here. Okay, and that's really where I want to be on $1,000 account. If I lose $50, all right, it's a significant percentage of the account. But when you work with small accounts, you don't really have too many choices. Sure, I can go really small on the size, but it's going to take forever to reach another $1,000. So I have to use leverage, and I have to try to use my skills and my knowledge with that leverage to navigate my way to another $1,000. It can be done. It's just not going to be easy. All right. And I'm going to have to take risks on this account that I normally would not take. Like if I had a 100K account, for example, I would not take these kind of proportional risks. But when you have a small account, like $1,000, you have no choice but to take high proportion risks, right? That's what the market makers and exchanges and Forex dealers, that's why they give you so much leverage, because they know you're not going to know what you're doing with it, and they're on the other side of those trades, usually. Okay, so anyway, I'll leave you guys with that. If you have any questions, you know where to find me, marketmarkpremarkets.com. You can also send me a message on TradingView or whatever. That's cool. And one thing I have to mention, if I reach out to you, like on Twitter or on Discord or whatever, you get a message from me initiating the message, or Stian or Alex, it's a fake, because we don't do that. We don't come out asking you for money or anything like that, or send you to websites that are asking you for money. None of that. I showed you the Trade Scanner Pro website. That's the only website that you should be looking at if you're talking to me. And you send message to me, I'll answer back to you. But I do not send a message to you. Please remember that, because a lot of people, especially now, right now is scam season. Right now is the time to scam. And I mean, tell you want to make fast money, be a scammer and start your own YouTube channel and be a fake guru. Now is the time, because this is when all the morons come out and they think, oh, Bitcoin's going to go to 200K. I'm going to be rich. And all the scammers come out. So scam season, please be aware of that. All right, everyone. So thank you for watching. I hope you got something out of the stream. Press the like button, press subscribe, help me out in that area. And that's cool. All right. So enjoy the rest of your day, the rest of your evening, wherever you are in the world. And thank you very much for watching.